All right, guys, and welcome to the Git Bit Podcast, the podcast for blurs and nerds and everybody of all fandoms to join us. This is definitely a spot for you. I'm your host, most Will Buchanan, of course, the man to your left, my right. And Joe, before you give your weird name, you got to unmute yourself, sir. Okay. And Joe, what weird name do you have for us this week?
Accidentally muted myself, Joe Tonello.
Aside from that, before we do get started, we are a family-friendly podcast, so we do try to watch our language, but sometimes words do fly. At the same time, guys, there may be things, although they are not very graphic, but they still might be intense for younger viewers, so viewer discretion is advised. Aside from that, welcome. So, we're going to go into it because we actually have a lot, so we're just going to jump right into it. We would be remiss if we're not going to talk about the elephant in the room, DC Fandome, which actually did occur last Saturday. As I'm getting stuff together, Joe, what were your overall thoughts about the entire shindig?
Candace Patton did more reporting as Candace Patton than she has as Iris West in the entirety of the Flash series during the Fandome.
Fair point. Okay, well...
also, Golden Boots.
Oh, the Golden Boots.
Oh my god, that was the stupidest thing ever. No, in all honesty, I watched the whole 4-hour thing, C+.
You gave it a higher grade than I did. I gave it a D.
I gave it a C+ because I get a Green Lantern animated film next year.
I gave it a D just because of the lack of just actual content. Like, okay, well, we already knew the Batman was coming. We knew they were going to show another trailer for Batman as I'm playing it right now, and I'm not mad about it. It was exactly what I thought it would be. Of course, when everybody's wondering if Robert Pattinson's going to play a good Batman, is he going to play? Is it going to be crappy? Is the Riddler and the whole Catwoman with Lenny Kravitz's daughter? I can't remember her name to save my life right now, but. And everybody, I don't know about you, Joe, but I'm still on the fence about Batman. About the Batman. Now, we both sat there and said it previously on this podcast. This is basically Batman Year One. So, it's not going to be polished. It's not going to be where he's technologically superior. It's going to be raw. It's going to be rage. It's going to be Batman before he was Batman, to make sense. But I'm not against it, but... I'm still on the fence. But what are you? But after seeing the trailer, does that change your mind, or are you still where you were at about a year ago?
No, I'm down with it. We also need to probably mention the Batman is the reason Marvel's movie slate moved, but we'll get there when we get there. Well, I mean, even Marvel recognizes we're not going to make money if we're next to Batman. So, but like I said, we'll get to that in a bit. As for the trailer, he is probably the angriest of all the Batman I've seen.
Oh, yeah.
There's a possibility Joaquin Phoenix may make an appearance. You don't know. The guy doing Penguin, I cannot think of his name at the moment.
Colin Farrell?
Thank you. Colin Farrell looks like he looks like a fantastic Penguin.
Yeah.
Overall, I think it'll be fine. I want to say maybe this may be more of a transition from year one to year two, but it also could be telling just its own story without, trying to be bogged down with that kind of content. Because year one he's not going after supervillains. He's going after mobsters.
True. That's why it made me think about the because usually with mobsters, the one name you always hear is Falcone, as Falcone crime family.
Yeah.
But it's like I'm curious to see where they go with it. I'm not, like I said, I'm not fully against it. I do like the fact of Andy Serkis playing Alfred, Jeffrey Wright playing Jim Gordon. I'm willing to give, like I said before, ever since Heath Ledger, I was like, you know what, I'm not going to look a gift horse. I'm not going to look a strange casting in the mouth, so I'll watch it. For all I know, Robert Pattinson could knock it out of the park. And Zoe, is it Zoe Kravitz or is Lena? Well, one of the two. The girl, the Zoe. Well, we know her as Lenny Kravitz's daughter. That she could probably knock it out as playing Selena Kyle. So yeah,
only thing. Oh, go ahead.
No. I was going to just say I'm just reserving judgment until I actually watch. But what were you going to say?
The only thing I have real issue with is some of these costumes, like Zoe Kravitz's weird ninja mask thing with the ears. But the biggest thing, and if they do this, I'm fine with it, is the Riddler's design has been with us for so long. This weird, like, how do I put this? Trash bag man?
Yes.
Look, it'll be fine. I'll be okay with it because costumes are always in flux. But, like, if he's not in the costume, I kind of want him to be kind of like normal Riddler. Like, maybe just give him a roller derby when he's not fully in costume.
Yeah, he kind of like
make the classic costume his everyday outfit, and make the trash bag man costume his work outfit.
I can see that, but like I said, I wasn't against it. I was probably, to me, one of the brightest parts of DC fandom. But as we have pointed out, the golden boots, which we'll get to that momentarily. But here's the other problem I had with DC, guys, was just that aside from two other trailers we're going to show, everything was just snippets. Like, for example, The Flash. I wish I could make this up, that the teaser trailer they showed really didn't show anything. It was more along the lines of Ezra Miller coming forward and saying, hey guys, so the movie's still being made, we don't have enough for a trailer, because the movie's being made. And by the way, Ezra Miller looked high as all get out. I can't be the only one that saw that. I'm like, dude,
wait,
you look high as a kite.
1970s hippies ask you what's wrong with your fashion sense?
Yeah,
there's a problem.
Yeah, that's
also,
true.
Also, we got to keep in mind that this man is chokeslammed fan.
That is also true. So that's why I was like, that's why I'm like, when I saw the Flash trailer, I'm like, okay, I'm sorry, the teaser trailer. I don't know if we can still call it a trailer because it looks like a whole bunch of scenes put together in randomness. I mean, we do see the fact that you see the suit, you see the ring, you see the boots, which, of course, Joe, we're going to talk about the gold boots on the TV version of the Flash. But then we get a similar we see a similar cowl, you see the three Flashes there, and of course you see
two Flashes. It's two Flashes and Supergirl.
Right. So you see, I'm sorry, I did say three Flashes. But it's just the whole idea of when you see that, it's like, okay, I'm like, the least you could have done in that situation was show Michael Keaton's face with the cowl on. I'm thinking to myself, you're telling me you couldn't even give us enough of a teaser trailer to sit there and say, okay, something we've already confirmed this entire doggone time? It just makes sense.
Here's the thing of how I look at this, and we can actually look at proof for the DC animated movies, is we can tell they are not very, and I don't like saying this because I am a Flash fan, but it looks to me like they do not have a lot of faith in this movie because they are already leveraging Batman.
Yeah.
Now, if we look at some of the DC animated movies, the ones that they don't think are going to sell well, it is Batman, Assault on Arkham, not Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
Which, had that come out later when Suicide Squad as it is hot now, that would have sold gangbusters on its own.
Right.
But we also have Batman, Justice League Dark, because they don't think
the Justice League
Dark's going to sell itself.
Right.
Nowadays, everybody knows Matt Ryan is Constantine, and if you put Constantine in the Justice League Dark, that'll sell.
Right.
Wonder Woman did not need Batman. Sold well. Aquaman did not need Batman. Sold well. Wonder Woman 84 really needed Batman.
Wonder Woman 84 needed a whole script, but that's a whole nother story.
That's a whole new thing. So the fact that they're already leveraging Batman as heavily as they are, because if you look at the long-haired Ezra Miller behind normal Ezra Miller, that is the 89 Batsuit spray painted to be a Flash suit.
Yeah. It's just...
And, like, I just don't think... I think Warner Brothers realizes this is probably not going to make as much money as they hope.
So they Guardians of the Galaxy it. They basically get it a low attempt Guardians of the Galaxy way of doing it, because even
no,
Disney.
This is one of those. Let's just go ahead and prop a crutch up under it.
Yeah.
Before we even hit the start, fire the pistol. I hope to God I'm wrong, but if we are continuing Batman 89, that is not for new people. That is for our parents.
Pretty much.
That is for us. And then everybody else that likes Snyderverse Flash, I don't, because he came off super duper creepy in that movie. Moving forward, maybe something else will happen. I don't know, but I mean, I'll still go see it. I am a Flash fan as much as I'm a Green Lantern fan. And I am definitely a Batman 89 fan, but I just honestly don't know anyone who's not a Batman 89 fan.
Right. I mean, for a lot of us, that's where our starting points were. For really a lot of us around our age group, that was our starting point. But
it's just obvious they're going to be using him as a crutch.
Yeah, it's just, I have high hopes for the Flash. It's just, since it's been so long and just getting a director after what, 4 directors they went through, and Lord knows how many script rewrites, you kind of lose a little bit of faith in it personally. But
yeah,
we'll follow that as it comes along. But like I said, one of the most interesting things they showed on Fandome was Peacemaker. They showed the Peacemaker trailer, and I am all for it. What are you gonna say, Joe?
Life.
Say what?
I said eagerly for life.
I loved it. And for all those that don't know, Peacemaker, and I'm going to say for really by this point, if you have not seen the newest Suicide Squad, Peacemaker was basically getting his start from that movie and is eventually getting his own spin-off show on HBO Max, in which, of course, if you don't know about Peacemaker, he is a guy that loves peace with all his heart, no matter how many people he has to kill to get to do it. He's also a little bit of a douche, as you can literally see from the trailer we're showing. And yes, he is being played by John Cena, who I gave so much praise to as him playing Peacemaker on Suicide Squad, that I can see why they decided to go. I can see why they had so much faith in going in with the series with this, and just giving him a cast and crew and showing Vigilante right next to him. I am all for this, just because looks like it's just going to be. It is going to be the weirdest. It's like if Suicide Squad and the Losers had a baby. This is pretty much how the show's going to be. And I'm all for it. But what do you think of the trailer they showed for Peacemaker at Fandom, Joe?
Oh, yeah. Now, we get to see a vulnerable Peacemaker.
Yeah.
We get to see him dancing around in underwear. We get to see an eagle give a hug. And Vigilante pop out behind a dumpster. So I think we're in good hands.
I still love the fact just to see Eagle at just hold. He's hugging me. He's hugging me.
Yeah, get a camera.
Get the camera. Oh, that was still funny. But I'm looking forward to it. I just think it's gonna be a great. I want to give this so much hope, because it just looks like it's gonna be a great series. And if HBO Max is putting their money behind it, they're probably expecting us to have a season 2 renewal probably during the first season 1. So I am definitely looking forward to this. But it's just the whole idea of just it's a role for John Cena to play as Peacemaker. This just makes sense. So my
hope is that each season he'll meet one of the Charlton comic characters.
Yeah.
So he'll go from Vigilante, and then season 2, he has to deal with like Captain Atom.
That'd be interesting.
Or even worse, we get a really screwed up version of the Question, like Victor Sage version.
Dang, I can see that.
No, he's just asking really annoying questions.
Yeah,
like the whole thing, and then it's one of those at the final episode. All these questions led to this. And it's something horribly important.
It's just horrible. It's just a horrible pun after another. Um,
Yeah. What else was really fun? The Black Adam looked really good.
it did, and what annoyed me was we were, and this is the thing about Black. And here's the thing: I'm looking forward to Black Adam just because The Rock doesn't really have bad, horrible movies if you think about it.
Yeah.
Almost every one of his movies has had mediocre level success.
Doom.
Mediocre video games. We can call that a video game movie.
I'm Asian. I can get squintier.
I mean, Doom was written terribly, yes, but will we still sit down and watch it? Yes, that's how we treat video game movies.
I will go full Brock from Pokemon if I have to.
God, not with the lines. With the lines for eyes. Lord. But no, Black Adam I liked it for what they showed. I wanted to see, like everybody, we wanted to see him in the actual suit. And the fact of how it looks and how they, the whole word of the using Shazam and using that to release him, I'm like, okay, this
The
gives me
thing we
hope.
also got to realize in this movie is we are not just getting a Black Adam movie. We are getting a JSA movie. And Pierce Brosnan, from the set photos they showed, he looks like he is going to be a great Hector Hall,
Hmm.
Dr. Fate. He even says, like, look, I grew up in theater. Being in skin tight costumes with heavy props is nothing to me.
Right. I mean, oh yeah, he was a great cast. He said I played James Bond for. He said I played James Bond for 10 years, and this was probably one of the hardest things I ever had to do. I was like, you know what, Pierce Brosnan is Doctor Fate. I never gave that consideration.
Also, he's lying. We all know the hardest thing he had to do was singing Mamma Mia.
Yeah, true. But that is also true. But no, I'm looking forward to it. Like I said before, they didn't really give us much. So there's really not a lot to show on this podcast. But if you do want to watch it, you are welcome. The clips are there on YouTube for Black Adam. But from me and Joe's standpoint, we are definitely going to watch it. They did show a couple of other teaser trailers. They did show one for Shazam, Fury of the Gods.
See, I got a problem with that.
What's that?
Them just now making it is his actor is the Billy Batson actor.
Yeah.
I think is as tall as you as Zachary Levi now.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's going to be a problem considering that, it's been what? 5,
4 or 5 years.
4 or 5 years since the movie?
Yeah, somewhere in there.
Yeah, let's round it off. Let's just say 4 years. It's been 4 years or 5 years since that movie. So, when you're dealing with child actors, you only have such a window. Or maybe they're just gonna fast forward it to where they're in those teenage years, which would kind of make sense considering the kids at the time. But I'm looking forward to it to see Helen Mirren. I think she's playing Hesper, if memory serves me right, if I read it right.
Maybe.
I forgot who Lucy Liu is playing.
Eh,
But I'm looking forward to it just because, again, the first Shazam movie was pretty good. I'm kind of curious to see what they do with Fury of the Gods, but I'm going to go ahead and call it. I think at the end of Fury of the Gods, we're gonna see Black Adam show up.
no, they actually already said we will not have Black Adam until he either Shazam shows up in Black Adam or Shazam 3.
Oh damn! Okay, well now I stand corrected.
Now there are some jokes that even The Rock has put out there, like it shows the trailer and somebody says like, well, "What is Shazam gonna do now?" And The Rock replies, "Not an effing thing." And then Zachary Levi tweets back, "It's like, and this is why we can't be friends."
Dang. But no, Shazam Fury of the Gods looks like it's gonna be good, and they did show a little bit of Aquaman 2 in Lost Kingdom, but again another teaser.
You get Peter David blue suit.
Yep, enter the blue suit, and the fact that in the trailer clips they showed, it looks like, of course, Black Manta will be making a return. So I can never think that actor's name to save my life. I have got to do better because he's in so many movies out that he's coming out and I want to watch, and I can't think of his name to save my life. But
Was he the best friend? No, that's the dude from Get Out.
yeah, he's
I
not.
was
No,
gonna say,
that's
was he
not
the
him.
best friend in Black Panther, but it's like, no, that's the dude from Get Out. Never mind.
Right. Yeah, he's not black. Yeah, he was different. He was different. But I loved his Black Manta, and knowing that he's gonna be in the Lost Kingdom. And from the teaser trailer they showed, we're going to see the guy who plays Ocean Master. I can't think of his name to save my life right now. Um, but those two, from what the scenes look like they're going to be fighting alongside each other. So that's going to be different as far as the story they're telling. But
Yeah.
but I'm gonna be interested to see where it goes from there. But again, with Aquaman just now filming because they were dealing with COVID and trying to, keep people safe and healthy. I get it. I can wait for it. Aquaman, the first movie is still a solid movie, so I can only imagine that the second one is gonna just be. It really should set the stage for the next one, in my opinion. But the only thing I'm not looking forward to is Queen Mira because for reasons, but that's neither here nor there. But from what they showed the teaser trailer for Aquaman 2 and the Lost Kingdom, it definitely looks like it's going to be on its way. Now, of course, they did talk about Young Justice season 4 of, what was it, Phantoms, if memory serves me right?
Phantoms, or as I like to call it, Weddings and Racism.
Pretty much. It did talk about...
Have you got to watch any of it yet?
Not yet. I'm still catching up. Like I said, I've been like before. I was telling you before we started the podcast. I was watching Doom Patrol, and the moment I heard Alan Tudyk's voice as narrating, I'm like, and you have my attention for the next several hours as I watch. So I know everybody's like, you're just now watching Doom Patrol. Yes, I'm sorry. I'm trying to catch up, just like One Piece. I'm trying to catch up. And I am not complaining about Doom Patrol. I love the first season. I'm currently in season 2 right now, so I am definitely loving it. That being said, you still get back to, of course, Young Justice Phantoms. That's going to be coming. Is it already released, or they say will be released?
So they shadow dropped the first 2 episodes immediately after Fandome, and it comes out every Thursday.
Okay.
So we're on episode 3 now.
Okay, they're going the DC Titans route then. It's every Thursday. It's going to be an episode dropping. Makes sense. Aside from that, like I said, there was other things. DC Fandom, they did go into television shows, and we got to talk about.
Linda Carter accidentally spoiled Wonder Woman 3.
A little bit.
In her interview with Patty Jenkins.
A little bit, but I think she intentionally did that on purpose.
Yeah, but I don't think she was supposed to.
Yeah,
with the way Patty Jenkins kind of reacted when she said it, it's like, yeah, we're working on Wonder Woman 3. Yeah, we sure are.
Hey, just the look on their face, like, well, too late now. what you gonna?
No one in Marvel, no one in WB is gonna correct Linda Carter.
Right.
Roll with it.
I was like, you're not gonna correct the original Wonder Woman. You just gonna sit there, whatever she wants to do, whatever Miss Carter wants to do, you're just gonna nod your head and say yes. If you believe in still having a movie career at Warner Brothers, but that also being said, we do have to tackle the gold boots scenario, which again, in DC Fandom, they did show the Season 8 trailer for The Flash. And I don't know about you guys, but I'm slightly concerned, considering that the Flash trailer they showed was actually a 5-episode crossover event, which means, again, this kind of bothered me a little bit just because, number one, you're showing Despero, as the villain for the crossover event, and then of course, as it shows on, you see episodes of Black Lightning, you see Green Arrow as Oliver's daughter is showing there from that failed last season, and I'm just wondering where are they going with Flash and all this, because again, me and Joe have talked about this. The whole thing about Flash, it went from great writing to just like everything is about Team Flash and we are the Flash, and it just kind of soured the whole show for a while. But Joe, you saw the trailer for it, the Season 8 trailer for Flash Armageddon. What did you think? Just that alone says a lot.
I mean, their big thing was the gold boots. I'm like, well, of course it looks good. That's been the costume for the last 80 years.
Right.
Congratulations. You finally caught up with it.
It was amazing.
As for Despero, sure.
I just feel like
I'd rather it be cobalt blue or something else.
Well, I just think they've ran through the top tier of Flash's enemies. I mean, when you already swung for the fences and went Zoom, Godspeed, Reverse Flash, and it's just like the Thinker, Kong, Gorilla Grodd. I'm like, you kind of went to the upper echelon a little too early, and now it's like you're 8 years into a show, and let's be honest, 8 years on a show for 8 years on CW is running really 3 seasons longer than they usually do shows. So it's
Yeah,
like,
well, unless you're Smallville, but you know.
yeah, but let's be honest, after season 7 of Smallville, that
Okay,
was
moving
going.
on to something funnier on the Flash. Let's talk about that Smallville talk because I love Michael Rosenbaum's comment of where was Lex Luthor's security that entire series?
Dang.
No, he even says it himself. It's like, how can Clark just like immediately waltz in no matter where Lex Luthor is? Where is this man's security?
Yeah, but Michael Rosenbaum, who in my opinion should still play Lex Luthor on the big screen, but I mean he had that roll down. But I thought that was funny. But
And his complaint that he always had to do these long soliloquies, and Tom Welling's like, and
that is a fair point. But yeah, but overall, just DC fandom, like I said before, I mean, you heard Joe give it a C, I give it a D, just because I felt like
yep.
you kind of, it's like bringing your homework half done and saying like, oh, it's gonna be so great when it's finished, trust us. We did that with Snyder. We
no,
saw how
this
that
is.
went.
Can I copy your homework? Sure, don't make it too much like mine.
Yeah, considering that
There
all,
are some good things in there. Like the video games were fine. We saw no gameplay for Suicide Squad,
yeah,
but we did get to see some of the heroes. Apparently, Jon Stewart may still be a good guy.
yeah, which is weird.
They weren't really clear on that. We know Flash is infected.
Yeah,
We saw some gameplay footage for Arkham Knights, which I am still confused on where this is in the Arkham series, if it's even canon.
it's kind of gonna be canon because they're trying to sit there and say that the Batman and both Jim Gordon have died. So it's like I think we're going into canon territory.
Uh, then we got into the animated movies. The Elizabeth Giles, that woman is wonderful and gorgeous. She is getting her own Catwoman movie that's kind of done like what's a good way of putting it? Kind of a Totally Spies
That's
style
what
animation,
concerns
which
me.
works for Catwoman, actually.
I'm concerned because
Um,
I'd rather have that go more along the lines of like a gentleman thief type of story. But that's just me.
It is. It's the standard Catwoman of the government gets an order. If you do your job, we'll wipe your slate clean.
Suicide Squad light.
No. Like, do this high stakes robbery for the U.S. government, and we will wipe your slate clean.
I'll have to go back and look at that because I was
We
like,
also got the Legion of Super Pets.
that was funny. I gotta admit that was funny.
I did not find that funny. The fact that we wasted 7 minutes on a pee joke.
Well, I mean, considering the fact of where most of those jokes usually originated from, I can't be mad about that.
Yeah, and it's really weird casting seeing Kevin Hart as Ace the Bat Hound. I just find that weird. But that's just me.
But
We get another Teen Titans Go movie. That's fine. Green Lantern is finally getting another animated film called Beware My Power. I do not know which rendition of Beware My Power this is because there have been multiple storylines carrying that title,
Yeah.
or if this is original. And then they copped out and just said the final film is Long Halloween Deluxe Edition.
yeah, that was a little weird.
Like I said, Fandome was fine. It's just it took forever. Oh, Blue Beetle. We finally got two guys on a couch and a TV screen talking about Blue Beetle with the concept art that shows Jaime in the costume in front of Cord Industries. That's fine. We got confirmation of Batwoman and saying she will have a cow and she will have red hair. That's fine.
I mean, it's not. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's not. I mean, fandom just. I felt disappointed. To me, I felt disappointed. It was the. I'm like, you did a lot more talking than actual showing to kind of give us a little hope as far as where DC's going, and it's still a magical 8 ball every time we ask for like, will we see content? Check back later. I mean, but again, that's one of those things we just have
Mine
to.
always says, "Stop shaking me. This is harassment."
Dang. With that being said, we're going to keep on going along with that from fandom. So, just to go ahead and give you guys an idea, Supergirl is still trash, and Legends of Tomorrow still hasn't gotten any better because apparently they just don't feel like actually writing a complete story. So, that being said, moving right along. Oh, before we do get into the shows, Uncharted trailer did come out. Joe, did you have a chance to actually watch the Uncharted trailer with Tom Holland, Mark Wahlberg?
It works physically, but he's like, the problem with Tom Holland is he has like super baby face.
Yeah.
So like a buddy of mine, Mike Lowe, where he internally looks 16, despite the fact that he's like as old as we are.
True.
Look, if you go out on a date and an Amber Alert goes off, you got a problem.
Dang.
That said, I think it'll be a fun movie. I like the casting. It's just baby face. That's going to get me every single time. The movie should have come out maybe 10 years ago to coincide with Game 2. It should have been Nathan Fillion.
We'll always say it'll be Nathan Fillion. We'll always say that.
Yeah, but I mean, where it is now, it's absolutely fine. It's going through Game 1, I think.
Well, that's the weird part. It's like, when you look at it, there's hints of the first game, and then Uncharted 2, and then he mentions his brother, which again brings up Uncharted 3. So it's like, it's kind of
I thought his brother was Uncharted 4.
Oh, right, 4, sorry. 4 is right. So really, it's just, I'm not sure if they're trying to just take elements from every game, but especially the infamous airplane cargo scene, which again, I love how they did that one. Like the way they showed that one, I was like, okay, that kind of made me think that they are really trying to go, because for anybody that's ever played the Uncharted games, first off, they're definitely over the top. They are completely ridiculous. At the same time, you're still wondering how this guy managed to survive all this personally. But as far as the trailer goes, in my opinion, I'm looking forward to it. It just looks like it's going to be really good. And Tom Holland at this point, because he might be saying goodbye to Spider-Man. We're not really sure. That is the rumor after No Way Home. But again, that's a rumor. But as far as Uncharted goes, yeah, it looks like it's going to be a good movie. And Mark Wahlberg playing Sonny, I can live with that. But I do agree with Joe, however. And what I do agree with that is that, yes, we should have went ahead and had Nathan Fillion 10 years ago, because the fan-made Uncharted is still, to me, one of the things I still go back and watch, and I'm just like, we should have had this. We should have had this. But again, but Uncharted actually comes out February the 18th of next year. And speaking of next year, Joe, I think you wanted to talk about why Marvel got scared of Batman, decided to push everything back.
Yeah, Marvel kind of had to blink because several movies were very close to Batman.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find the new release dates. Phase 4 release date. Seen it.
I'm going to say Disney doesn't blink much.
So Doctor Strange 2 was coming out like literally 2 weeks after Batman, and they bumped it by 2 months.
Yeah.
And everything else got bumped by 2 months to go with it. Captain Marvel 2 got pushed back into 2023, and Ant-Man got pushed into the middle of 2023. Also, 2 unslated Marvel movies were knocked off the slate entirely.
And Batman, and just goes to show you, Batman, the Batman as a brand scares Marvel to the point to where they don't want to go head to head.
Well, the other thing is we also got to realize we are still in a pandemic, so I know Warner Brothers is hoping for $1 billion. They need to understand that will not happen, even during a pandemic thing.
Right.
We are back to 1980 movies box offices where grossing double your budget is a success. Not, if it didn't make $1 billion, it's dead.
Right. But at the same time,
we're successful.
But at the same time, you're fighting streaming services too. And if streaming services get exclusives, then that tears into it. We've seen that happen with Black Widow. Poor Scarlett Johansson and Disney. and Disney screwed her. But they settled, so I guess all is fine now in Disney World.
Not entirely. Apparently, the Russo brothers may not be working on Marvel movies anymore because of that.
Well, that's gonna say a lot because they actually did give us a slate load of great movies, but somehow I'm almost saying the mouse will probably try to buy their way out of everything, so that's not surprising at all.
Oh yeah.
But that being said, we're gonna keep
So,
it. I'm sorry, guys.
you would know this, and I do want to ask this because I am completely in the dark about this. They casted somebody that everybody was making fun of for Guardians of the Galaxy because they finally announced the casting of Adam Warlock.
Yeah.
Everybody's going on about it. Who is this kid? I have no idea what everyone's going on about.
Okay, so you remember a long time ago that movie called We're the Millers?
No.
Okay, that's where he got his start. But he's actually a really good actor because he's also the same guy that played Pennywise. That he played in the revised It. So he actually did do a good job as Pennywise, and if I'm right, he played the Joker in they never called him the Joker for all you Gotham fans. Because Gotham fans get real finicky about that. But
He's the kid in Jedi Fallen Order?
Yeah. Pretty much, no, he has that same face style, but that wasn't him.
No, the kid from Jedi Fallen Order is the guy from Gotham, I think.
Oh, yeah, that's the same guy. I'm sorry.
So it's all the same guy?
Yeah. If I'm right, it's all the same guy. But, again, I'm looking forward to it because, again, him playing Adam Warlock, I've seen him. I think he'll do good. I think he'll do great in Volume 3 as Adam Warlock. I think that it's going to be good for him. And trust me, you get good with Marvel, that's just more movies, especially for whenever they get around to X-Men and Fantastic Four, which will probably be sometime next year. But that being said, we are going to go into our television reviews. I did want to go over first, like I said before, no need to go over Supergirl and Legends tomorrow because the stories were crappy and I barely made it to it. I barely made it through half of those shows without going to sleep. And it takes me a while to fall asleep. So if I'm watching something and I immediately pass out, that tells you at the point your show is trash. That's my opinion. Take it how you will. But moving right along, Stargirl Summer School Chapter 11 was the most. It was interesting. At the same time, I'm just like it was a little bit off. But what are you gonna say, Joe?
I think they were trying to make it like the scariest episode, but they just couldn't go through with it.
I think CW and DC had a line they couldn't cross, or somebody's line wasn't being crossed.
No, they can cross that line because they have stuff like Sabrina and Riverdale, so they can cross that line pretty easily.
Riverdale, yes. Well, since Sabrina's gonna be joining Riverdale, I guess that's a given. But still, the whole thing about Court not being dead, being trapped in the Shadowlands. Cindy isn't dead. She's actually, reliving her. I never heard of somebody reliving the greatest moment in like the worst place of just reliving killing her dad over and over again.
No, I think Cindy's dead. She got a comic book resurrection.
Ah, isn't the way they made it seem? It's like okay, she was still alive. It was almost in the same sense of how Court got pulled into the Shadowlands, the same way she got pulled in. But,
well, I keep forgetting Shiv can take a lot more damage than Courtney.
Yeah, but the whole
also Dr. Midnight came back, and now he's super duper young.
Yeah, and it's the funny thing about all of them coming back, and then you get that one little scene where Eclipso's like, "I want you to tell me you hate me." I was like, "Why are we forcing this? It's like if you tell me you hate me, I'll let you go." I was like, "Why dude? You were more." It's like I hate to say this, but Eclipso was more intimidating in the background of people's fears than just going up to somebody and saying, "Just tell me you hate me, I'll let you go. I just want to hear you say it." I was like,
that small child listens to nothing but Black Parade on repeat.
Pretty much. But of course, the whole idea of the Shade. I had to ask you this question. Do you think the Shade is dead?
Oh God, no! He's just off doing stuff.
Because that's why they try to make it seem. They try to make it seem after he done kept that portal open for so long. I'm afraid I must shuffle off this mortal coil. I'm like, no, dude, you're not dead. I'm like, the Shade doesn't die. For somebody whose power comes from the Shadowlands, you don't die. But like you said,
I have the comic. He lives to the year 3000.
Yeah. So it's just So now it's just like what you have in the show. Everybody with the exception of two heroes is back. Um, and wonder what Dr. Midnight's going to say about all this going on. It's like, what did I
Well, on
miss?
top of that, we still have to address Todd, who
Yeah.
also has a connection to the Shadowlands as Obsidian.
Yep. So it's gonna be like, so it's like it's kind of those open ended. Like they've kind of left a lot of things in this episode. Like I think it's what 13 episodes a 13 episodes a season.
Apparently, Starman is still on his way to Blue Valley.
I was like, what Greyhound bus route is he taking? I had to ask this question because I'm like, so is the next? Because I can only think if it's 13 episodes, 13 episode season. So either we're going to get a very big 12th episode, or 13, the season finale is just going to be off the wall.
Now, I guarantee you the finale, the true finale, will be after they beat Calypso. There'll be a knock on the door, and it's Starman going, "Hey, can I have my staff back?"
That's
Because we already know from like the internet that Joe McHale is a permanent cast member starting season 3.
Yeah. So we know he's gonna. So we definitely know he's gonna be there. But I was curious about that one. I mean, as far as the season goes, this was probably one of the not my favorite episodes, just because
even to me, this was kind of weak. Like, I just look at it as like, oh, this is like, let's bring everybody back from the first season and give them a paycheck.
that's what it seemed like, and that's why I was just like, it felt like it was supposed to be a prop up for the season finale, at least getting to that point. But it's like it fell short. I'm not gonna lie, but
Yeah, it did.
But I'm still going to be seeing what's going to happen in 12 in the season finale. And the season finale for Summer School. It's kind of weird to say the season finale for Summer School, but that's going to be happening the next couple of weeks. Before we get into Batwoman, we do have to talk about the controversy first before we talk about the episode. Or I'll be talking about the episode because Joe has already sat there and checked out on Batwoman. But we do got to talk about Batwoman just because Ruby Rose, if all those don't remember, she was the first woman to be casted as Batwoman in its first season of CW. She has recently came out on Instagram to basically come out and say a lot of things, a lot of defaming things. I'm just going to just read this very quickly. You can also see this on Instagram and also on comicbook.com where I'm reading this from. She starts out saying, "I'm going to tell the whole world what really happened on that set. I will come for you so that what happened to me will never happen to another person again, and I can finally take back my life and truth. Shame on you." She alleged that the Warner Brothers chief, Peter Roth, actually hired a private investigator to get dirt on her and then fired the investigator when he couldn't find anything that quote-unquote fit your narrative. She also accused Mr. Roth of inappropriate relationships with young women, even though he just got an award for his work in the industry and also starred on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. She also keeps going in her Instagram story. Cut to 3 weeks after this video, it's worse than abnormal. This was diagnosed after years ago on set, but if I got an x-ray, we would make our day. I have documented this for years. On top of that, I have enough documentation to make a 1-hour documentary. Pray tell, what else would you like me to share? The broken neck or the broken rib split in two and the tumor? According to her, she sat there and said that she would cost studio millions and endanger the lives of the jobs of the cast and crew if she did not return to work right away. This was around that weird time where after the first season was done, they did not know if she was going to come back to film season 2, in which we did find out that she was eventually let out. And so she does wind up saying, so in closing, please to my dear fans, stop asking if I will return to that awful show. I wouldn't return for any amount of money, nor if a gun was to my head. Nor did I quit. I did not quit. They ruined Kate Kane and they destroyed Batwoman, not me. I followed orders. If I wanted to say I was going to have I'm sorry, let me read that again. If I wanted to stay, I was going to have to sign my rights away. Any threats, any bullying tactics, or blackmail would not make me stand down. A crew member got third-degree burns over his whole body, and we were given no therapy after witnessing the skin fall off his face. But I was the only one who sent him flowers and cards, told him that, and then we're told we would have to do a sex scene without a minute to process. We lost 2 stunt doubles. I got cut in the face so close to my eye in a stunt that I could have been blind. And that's just a snippet of the extremely long story that she put out there. And of course, Warner Brothers did actually do a response, because also, let me also not forget that she also does mention that she does call out two of her co-actors in the show. She called out Doug Ray, who played Kate Kane's father, and she also called out Camaris Johnson, who actually plays Luke Fox on the show, saying that they were both hard to work with, and were womanizing, and were rude, and just really just not very pleasant people. So she definitely did have a lot to say about all of this. Warner Brothers did actually come forward and sat there and said, despite the revenous history that Ruby Rose is now showing online, aimed at producers, the cast and crew, the network, and the studio, the truth is that Warner Brothers had decided not to exercise its option to engage Ruby for season 2 of Batwoman, based on multiple complaints about workplace behavior that were extensively reviewed and handled privately out of respect for all concerned. So, and also thanks to Joe, because Joe actually did see that Camaris Johnson, aka Luke Fox on the show, did go to Twitter to explain himself 2 days ago, where he sat there and says, quote, "Bat fam, you know I couldn't go the whole day without saying something. I love y'all. Don't think I haven't seen all the love today, but yeah, fam, she was fired. And it is very hard to be fired when you're the lead. Imagine what you have to do for that to happen. Since it was claimed that she walked away last year, I'm sure some of you may have been pretty confused or upset, even more so that a lot of lies were spread today. Just know that we have a lot of great souls working on this show, and none of that changed that from the top to bottom." So, with that being said, Joe, it's one of those things to where we sit there and go, was Ruby Rose right about Batwoman, or was it just that she was one of those prima donnas that didn't get her way and decided to take her ball and go home?
I'd probably say it's somewhere in the middle.
Because I'm gonna be honest, when I first saw this, I'm like, I'm gonna wait to see if this story gets collaborated, because we see it all the time. You know, stars leave shows, then stars a few years down the road will come back and sit there and say, oh, well, you know, this happened, and this happened. I wasn't happy, they weren't happy, all this crap. And you usually get some collaborations behind what they're saying. But the weird part about this is, she did this just 2 days ago, and no one else is coming forward saying that she's right. So that's why
they hopped on this super fast.
Yeah. Oh, it's definitely damage control, because let's be honest, Ruby Rose does represent a certain demographic, and Warner Brothers realizes that that demographic they're counting on for sales and shows and things of that nature. But honestly, to me, it feels like, you know, Camaris Johnson does have a point. If you're the lead in the show, imagine what you have to do. Imagine what you have to do to get yourself thrown out as the lead. You have to do. You have to do quite the list of things to where CW and Warner Brothers says, no, we can't. We can't. No, we can't. We're not going to take that chance again. But I also sit there and say, I don't know why she said they ruined Batwoman. I'm like, no, ma'am, your acting ruined Batwoman. I'm gonna be honest with you, Rose. Your acting wasn't that good. That's why you had very few episodes in Orange is the New Black, and that's why you're not really given a series anymore. And you know, from various people who have commented on Ruby Rose, it's like, oh, she's not very pleasant to work with. So it's like the same social media that you're crying to about, you know, you're not getting fairly treated, might come back to haunt you. But I just thought that was interesting, just because of Batwoman, because I said before, and Joe's heard me. Joe has heard me all last year, I think, and the year before that. Might have been the last year or the year before that, where he asked me all the time, why do you still watch Batwoman? I'm like, I want to give it hope, because I was hoping they would get away from the Kate Kane story and finally let Kate Kane go. They finally did. So I'm just going to talk very briefly about the first episode, the second episodes, in which they're basically following that Batman's Rogue Gallery trophies is loose. Which, okay, I can live with this. I can go with this. To where, of course, like last week, it was with the Mad Hatter. Of course, with Alice, of course, having a a Netflix Joe. That's what I call him. He's basically Joe from You on Netflix with Mad Hatter technology. In this case, this episode that came on this week was literally about Killer Croc, about his loose tooth, and apparently if you get scratched by this tooth, you basically get turned to Killer Croc. It's weak sauce, I'll give it that, but it represents something different, and that's the reason why I'm not really not saying this was a bad episode, because it was different. It actually gave Ryan's Batwoman a new enemy to focus on, and it wasn't about Kate Kane every 5 seconds. It was refreshing. I can't tell you off the bat how refreshing that was. But
so the weird thing about this, sorry to cut you off.
No, go ahead.
The way they presented this new season was kind of Mod Squad.
Yes, and I was getting to that part. That was the one part that just didn't make any sense. That you basically put Alice and Batwoman working together. It's like another 48 hours, except DC style. It just, I was like, okay, at first I was a little bit hesitant, and I was like, let's just see what happens. I mean, it gets to a point where you just gotta say, okay, let's just see what happens. It might be great, and I kept saying all last year, give me something different than Where is Kate Kane? It's almost as if CW listened. So I'm like, I'm going to keep going with it. But just overall, the Batwoman episode 2, I dug it. And again, we'll see where it goes from there on that. But the last show that we got before we get to Joe's news and top 5, I did want to talk about Purple Rain. And no, I'm not talking about Prince. I'm not talking about Prince, although Purple Rain is still a wonderful song. We are talking about the season-ending, season 3 of DC's Titans, which was episode Purple Rain. Joe, did you have a chance to watch it? And if you did, what you think about it?
I don't think that's how Lazarus pits work.
And what Joe means by that is, if you've been under a rock or not been paying attention to DC Titans this season, that, of course, they did want to go with the story of Ra's al Ghul wanting to set up in Gotham and somehow creating a Lazarus pit there. And that same Lazarus pit was being used to counter Crane's fear toxin. And I know, like Joe, like myself, we're like, that's not how the Lazarus pit works. But the weird part about this being the season finale, just to go ahead and just do a quick run through on this one. As you probably seen in the previous episodes, Crane is about to, release his fear toxin. The Titans are slowly coming back together. Jason is kind of on this semi-redemption, I can't be a Titan no more kick. We finally get to hear that August is actually in Gotham and has been knowing about the Titans and Barbara Gordon this entire time. We did see the Titans eventually get back together, and they did take down Crane. Even though it was kind of a cherry on top to see Tim Drake actually knock out Crane and just have that old feeling of, oh, we know you're gonna be. At this point, it's like, oh, we know you're gonna be Robin. The weird part about it was Bruce Wayne returning, and I've been saying this for like the last 4 podcasts. Where has he been this entire goddamn time since he got rescued by Donna?
There's a simple explanation for that.
and then just trail off. Just as a simple explanation and just walk off. But of course we see Bruce and Todd, kind of have this resolution to where, I can't be your son, but did you kill Joker because of me? And he goes, yeah, and he goes, thank you. And then of course we kind of figure that's where the whole Red Hood thing goes off. The coolest part was just seeing Dick kind of pull a Batman move on Crane when they're about to leave, go to San Francisco, and he visits Crane, and Crane says, well, what are you going to do now that I know everything that you don't want me to know? And Raven just sends the black cloud into him and just has him and forces him to relive nightmares. I'm thinking, that is very Batman-esque for a person who's supposed to be Nightwing. But we're going to see if Crane does come back, if Crane comes back in another season, we're going to see how that affects him, considering the fact that now he's being tortured by his own psychosis. And at the end of it all, you just see the Titans get into an RV, which I think is going to be the whole setup for the next season, is them just traveling. I want to say traveling, but then again, I could be wrong. It could have been just set up for them to get back to San Francisco, as they've already been renewed for a season 4. So, that being said, guys, the season finale, in my opinion, it was okay. I mean, it wasn't like season 2 season finale. I mean, it was okay, do not get me wrong. it did feel a little rushed considering of all they're going to do. I did like the fact that Tim did get invited by Dick, and he's like, "You got skills, but you're unpolished. You just need to be trained." So we already know that there's going to be another Robin, which again I have no issues with.
Nope.
And then you say no.
No, I said I have no problem with it because, I mean, at this current point, we have no Robin.
Right. So, and then the whole thing with Blackfire and Starfire, which again goes back to Lazarus Pit. The pit wasn't the pit. For all those that are wondering, it's like, yes, the pit wasn't supposed to be used in such a way to bring people who have just been doused with fear toxin back to normal. That's not how the Lazarus Pit works. But DC writing, you sometimes have to go with it. But what did you think of the season finale, Joe?
I'm worried about zombies in Gotham now because if the rain just brings anybody back, that puts it over the graveyard. Yeah, that's how you get zombies.
Yeah, you do get the undead that way.
It's also how you bring the Joker back.
If he's buried, for all we know, depending on where he is. But you got a fair point. But overall, this season of DC Titans, I did. Say what?
I said it was fine. We finally got to see Beast Boy turn into something other than a tiger.
We got a bat. That's the one thing I was mad about.
It's not a tiger.
Yeah, but it's like they're trying to make it seem like his powers are emotion based. I'm like, Beast Boy was able to change into anything from Jump Street, and you got him going through emotional roller coasters just to change into something. That just makes no sense to me. But okay, I'll leave it alone. But it was still a good series anyway. So
I want to see what emotion he has to harness to become a duck.
You know what? You talk that up. Watch this going to be an episode next season 4. Watching season 4, if that becomes an episode, you're covering that. You're going to cover that, and I'll be like, this is the episode that Joe called. This is the where Garth becomes a duck.
The emotion was joy.
Well, that being said, Joe, what news and comic books you got for us, sir?
Well, we do have news. We have She-Hulk is going back to the classic status quo of sensational. She is no longer savage. She's back to her normal, glorious green self. Thank God, because this Savage She-Hulk run was not good. It's fun. It's good that they get her out of her comfort zone and try to shake it up. But Savage She-Hulk was just not a good.
So she's going back to the lawyer gig.
Yeah. So this is going to be written by Rainbow Rowell, and the artist is Rogie Antonio. First announced by the name in a group of 10-pole series. I mean, let's face it, she's getting a series. So, of course, things have to go back in the comic book for the status quo to line up with said series.
Makes sense.
The artist worked on Jim Zub's Conan the Barbarian and Injustice Gods Among Us, and a small series called for TIE Fighter. As for the writer, she is mostly a young adult YA novel series and has done some Marvel comics.
Nice.
Most notably, she is the writer of the 2017 revival of The Runaways.
Okay.
Which is a good book. I am looking forward to this. I will more than likely pick it up because I do love me some classic She-Hulk. I hope they go so classic she becomes the fourth wall breaking She-Hulk again.
Where she represents everybody else.
Yes. No, where she was breaking the fourth wall and talking directly to the writer.
Oh yeah, that too. Because I was always...
other than that, we've covered everything else. Streaming's been okay. I'm slowly setting the schedule. Looks like I'll be streaming on my Twitch, either the new setup or the classic setup, just depending on the game, Monday through Thursday.
Okay.
My schedule.
I was gonna say, have you played Metroid Dread? I haven't played it yet.
Yes, I have. I am on the last planet.
Oh dang! How long have you been playing?
Week and a half.
So
it's only a 10-hour game.
Really? Dang.
Yeah,
okay.
but the thing is, just a lot of backtrack.
Gotcha.
And I didn't sequence break, so I did everything the normal way.
Okay, you went straight. You just straight play. Okay, I was gonna say, dang, just 10 hours? I was like, dude, my Far
Yep.
Cry 6 was 10 hours and I didn't even get past the island, get past the first island yet.
So Mondays is Mobile Suit Gundam Battle Operation 2. I got back into that because they are putting in a single player story mode involving an all-female Xeon Federation
Okay.
or platoon called Noisy Fairy.
Noisy Fairy. Okay.
And it's called Operation Code Fairy. That's coming out. It'll be implemented in chapters and will be dropping over through the course of November.
Nice.
The art designer is from Your Name and Darling and Franks for character designs.
Okay.
You can actually see a full English trailer on YouTube. I mostly got back into Gundam Battle Operations for this, not because of an all-girl Xeon squad, but mostly because Xeonic Front was my favorite of the Mobile Suit Gundam PS2 games, and this has shades of that in the game.
Nice. Well,
so I am looking forward to that. Tuesdays, it's Tales of Tuesdays with Shield Mom and Pals.
Nope.
I know you love that tape.
Nope. Not giving you the satisfaction. Not giving you the satisfaction.
Wednesday nights, starting next week, we will be streaming Guardians of the Galaxy. I will tell you, the title is exactly what it sounds like. Mm-hmm. I will stream that wearing my Nova helmet.
Nice.
And then Thursday nights, we still got I'm still doing Primal. That game is fun. Unfortunately, the second world is a giant water temple.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll finish that game at some point. But if the second world is nothing but Link's water temple from Ocarina of Time, it's going to take a bit.
Oh, my head. That water temple gave me headaches.
Yeah, the whole premise is there's plague in the water, and I'm running around the world given to me, restarting the filter stations at the moment. So I don't have to raise or lower water levels. I got to go turn on the water scrubbers.
Have fun with that. But for all those that don't know, Joe, where can they actually see you streaming, sir?
Joe Italian last name on Twitch. Like I said, I'm either using my computer so you can see my face, which I'll probably do for Guardians, but for stuff like Gundam Battle Operation or Primal, I will be or Gundam Battle Operation and Tales of Arise. I'll probably just do it the old way and stream directly from the PS2 just for like quality and smoothness.
Okay.
But for like Guardians, no. I'm gonna stream. You guys are gonna see me wearing a Nova helmet, and Primal's a PS2 game. I don't think smoothness and frame rate's gonna be an issue there.
Nah, not for PS2, no. But cool, but good to know.
We're not doing too bad. Gundam's actually gotten me 2 whole viewers.
Hey, it's two more that you didn't have. That's why I always say.
Oh yeah, no, that's actually pretty huge for me.
Hey, I always look. Hey, every that small steps lead to great victories.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the channel's already at 400 views because people are watching my VODs.
Yeah. So yeah, so you are. So just know when you get popular, just remember me. That's all I ask. That's all.
That's okay. I told Jared the same thing.
I told
when
Jared.
When you make it big on Instagram, just remember my name is Joe. Spelled Joe.
Shoot, I told Jared if I win the lottery, I'm coming to get that red C8 they got over there. But that's neither here nor there. Because
we'll have him on eventually so he can answer for all these crimes.
Yeah, well, he'll be on here. Right? Yeah, poor guy. He wants to be on here, but yeah, we understand things happen. You got to work, and in the business that he is in, time is definitely money. So we completely understand, and we're still gonna support him regardless. But Joe, what top 5 comics do you got for us, sir?
So, just through sheer coincidence, as this is DC Fandome Week, all 5 books are DC books. There was really only Trial of Magneto, and I don't want to spoil that for a lot of the people. So first up, we got the new miniseries Nubia and the Amazons.
Looking forward to that one.
Yes, it is a 6-part miniseries with co-writers Stephanie Williams and Vita Aaliyah, and primary script by Stephanie Williams, art by Althea Martinez.
Okay.
The long and short of this first issue, because I know some people are wanting to read it, this is day-to-day stuff for Hippolyta. Stuff is happening in the backgrounds, and they are welcoming new members to Themyscira, which are trans women.
Nice.
Which is very nice. And it is just these women going through the trial of the Amazons to become official members of the island.
Okay.
Fantastic. I'm down with that. And then at the end of it, Doom's door, which is being guarded by some Amazons, has been opened, and it goes from there.
Cool. I'm definitely looking. I keep on saying my comic book pile is starting to stack up, but I'm definitely gonna get that series because I definitely want to read that one. But you said it was 6 parts, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Also, a small note: we will not be reviewing it, but the Wonder Woman 80th anniversary 100-page spectacular dropped.
Mm-hmm.
It actually does flow within the current of Wonder Woman's storyline. It happens right because it's an anthology, but there is a chapter that does flow into the actual current Wonder Woman narrative. So that 80th anniversary happens before issue 780.
Gotcha. All right. As long as we play like Wonder Woman 84. Anyway, go ahead.
Next up, we got Flash, issue 775. That Javelin finally touched down in Central City.
The one that was thrown like 10 comics ago?
Yes. So Superman's trying to lift it, he can't lift it, and he's actually getting agitated by not being able to lift it. Like telling Wally, back the heck off, I'll get it when I get it.
Dang.
Which is very unusual for Clark. Because, it's Clark. He even notices, like, I am really frustrated right now for some reason, and I do not know why.
But it's that whole level of, I can lift everything, and then you find the one thing you can't pull.
Meanwhile, Mr. Terrific is also acting agitated and kind of a jerk. So Wally just races home and it's like, well, Mr. Terrific's got this. I'm going to go see the wife. The wife is also super dick. So it's like, okay, I'm going to go to work. You have a good rest of the day. Everybody at work is also incredibly agitated.
Dang.
And then Mr. Terrific tries to physically stop Wally by shooting lasers. Well, we all know how well this is going to go. Mr. Terrific may be the third smartest man in the DC universe, but he is not the fastest.
Or the brightest when you're trying to fire something at the Flash, but go ahead.
Oh no, Flash just like burrows underground and literally does the Naruto uppercut. And just knocks Michael Holt clean out.
Nice.
And the only thing is, like, I really hope this doesn't get me fired. So we see every single Flash rogue trying to get this javelin. Like, everybody. Like, Wally turns around. Let me see who I can see here. Giganta, Dr. Leg, Atomic Skull, the bad version of Killer Frost, King Shark, Prometheus, Major Disaster, Gorilla Grodd, Ultra Humanite. For whatever reason, the Pied Piper, because he's still supposed to be a good guy.
Interesting.
Vandal Savage, Titania, or not Titania, Giganta, and Rainbow Rider are all vying for this spear. And Wally's just looking all at him and just takes a running position like, well, it's been a long time since I've bowled. And just immediately crashes into him with, I guess, a lightning tackle and just obliterates everybody.
Dang.
And then it just shows Wally being Wally at his best and just handling everybody except for Rainbow Rider. Some dude with a car just hits him mid-strike.
Dang.
And Wally just like, even Wally's being like really, really smug about this with Rainbow Rider. He's just jogging up beside him with his arms back. He's like, you're trying to outrun me. Seriously. I just beat like half of you guys. And you seriously think you have a chance? And then the car hits him and Wally's like, oh, I didn't see that coming.
That right there is a classic setup. That's funny though. It's like, It's like, why is it between? Why is it all between Flash and Quicksilver? That line is always there. It's like I did not see that coming.
So the Javelin is making everybody terribly upset. If that is actually the cause of it. Wally tries to do shielding stuff. It does not work. And then somebody, I think this is like a super Golden Age character because I do not know who Starbreaker is.
Name sounds familiar, but I don't know.
Let me Google him real quick because, like,
that name sounds familiar, but
Starbreaker DC.
I think I've heard that before.
First appearance in Justice League 96, 1972. He was last seen prior to this comic in Justice League 34 in 2009.
It makes me feel like I want to say, hey kids, Starbreaker. Your parents know him.
So he is a energy being who is supposedly the adult form of a sun eater.
Oh god. So he's basically I want to say he's probably on the same level as Sentry, but I could be wrong.
No, he's really not, because Wally's not taking this seriously at all.
When does Wally take anything seriously?
No, but like this is like a new level for Wally. He's just like hunched over with his hand on his like doing this. It's like, new guy. Come on. I got dinner coming up.
Dang. not
So it's like, are you gonna eat the thing? I know you say you're a sun eater. I read your file. It's like, yeah, I can do this. Like, okay, well, I guess I got to stop you. It does not go well for the Sun Eater, Starbreaker. Then he pulls a Piccolo and becomes gigantic.
So yeah,
And then I was like, well, okay, that's fine. I'll just flying kick you. So he does actually, Starbreaker actually does lift the javelin.
Mm-hmm.
And then the javelin promptly eats him. And I want to say it turns him into a it's Eclipso. The javelin was Eclipso.
The whole
The blade of the javelin was Eclipso.
It was Eclipso all along. Dang.
Yeah.
I just feel like it had to fit.
So of course Wally's like, bravo, that thing is out of the ground. Deserve golf claps. And Eclipso's like, you're gonna be silent. It's like Wally just like immediately talks down to him because he knows Eclipso's fear thing. So he just like tells him out. I was like, honestly, I was more scared of who you were versus who you are now.
Dang.
So Eclipso's like, well, I can't get any food from you. I'm out. And Wally just like looks up in the sky. Like, he left. Yeah, I'm gonna call that as a win.
That's just...
And then Dr. Fate immediately pulls him into a portal. So all around, great book. Love this. Love the Flash. I just love Wally being Wally. It's refreshing. Barry's great. I just love it when Wally's in like full snark mode because he knows he literally cannot be touched unless he wants to be touched.
Still though, messed up. But fair though.
Jumping over to Nightwing by Tom Taylor and Robbie Rodriguez's art. This is the second part of the tie-in to the Batman event going on right now, Fear State. The long and short of it is this is fun time with Barbara and Dick. They go try to reclaim Oracle. We get some fun flashbacks where it's like classic Dick and Barbara hitting on each other versus now. They sneak into a building, get caught in fear gas. Barbara imagines Dick being shot in the head, and then Tim, being the good little brother that he is, immediately comes in with gas masks and like, yeah, it's fear toxin. Don't worry about it.
You wonder what happened.
They finally kiss, and Tim's like, "Oh, for God's sakes, finally!"
Unless you said something that you did not want repeated.
Yeah, Evil Oracle. It's like, yeah, I'm still gonna take out at least two of you kids. So she may have killed. She has not killed. Stephanie Brown and Cassandra Cain because we know they're fine because we've already said the solicits for that Batgirl's coming out in December.
Right.
So we look at the clock tower exploding, which, that in and of itself is like an iconic Batman place being the clock tower because that's where Birds of Prey operated out of.
True. Very
So
right.
there's that. Go read it. It's fun. Green Lantern. I can finally say the full story interests me for a multitude of reasons. Yes, I did tell Will what happened. The long and short of it is John meets a new god, and he is one of the new gods of Journey. So he takes John from his current situation, puts him in the war where the new gods are fighting hundreds of millions of years ago, to where the Guardians are like full-size adults fighting young versions of High Father, the Young Granny Goodness, and the Furies. It's not even Darkseid; it's Queen Hegra.
Okay.
And Darkseid is still Uxas. So he witnesses this and witnesses Darkseid kill one of the Guardians, or Uxas rather, kill one of the Guardians. I like him better as Darkseid because I just have this hard time of Darkseid with facial hair and a head of hair. It's weird.
That's odd.
But this is what Kid Darkseid looked like before he became Darkseid. So John runs away from the new god of journeys and starts fighting with Uxas and takes on not really his Omega Beams because he's not Darkseid. I believe he wields the Soul Cannon, which simulates Omega Beams, but not to full potential.
Got it.
So he blasts John, and then John comes back as Ion, I think. I'm not 100% sure, but, I'm pretty sure it's Ion. We only just know that he asks Lonar, which is the new god of Journey, and Lonar just tells him, it's evolution, John, and yours has waited for far too long. So I guess John is Ion or something, because it says the next chapter in the story is Lightbringer. So he could be something new entirely. I'm not too sure. It's just, I've read enough Kyle Rayner to call an Ion when I see an Ion.
I withhold judgment.
No, by all means, if you got anything to add.
No, I just need to read it. I need to read it before I do judgment. That's what I need to do. Because
then jumping over to the B story where it's Sojourn and Simon taking Kylie away from Kogar. Simon finally puts two and two together that the one who let them go is Jessica Cruz.
Mm-hmm.
War Machine Lantern gets on the intergalactic ship. They give Kelly to the intergalactic core, and apparently Simon's War Machine turns into his arm cast.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's weird.
Well,
but I mean, at least I will say, if anything, what they've done for Simon is finally differentiate himself from the other Green Lanterns, other than I'm the Green Lantern that carries a gun.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, making him the equivalent of War Machine for the Green Lantern Corps is a good identity for him.
Yeah. Considering the fact that he's military, so yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, the long and short of this half is just the council wants to put Teen Lantern away because she could have potentially started an intergalactic war with the Sinestro Corps.
Uh-huh.
And subconsciously, she is not letting that happen because there are constructs everywhere. And these constructs that are defending her, all of Young Justice.
Gotcha.
till finally Simon gets to her. It's like, hey, it's okay, and then all the constructs fade away.
Okay.
No, good book. I now am peaked in the John stuff because we are finally moving past the future state timeline, which is where this book was set in, and I'm looking forward to seeing it. And final book of the night is Tom Taylor's Kal-El, son of Superman. Blech. Superman, son of Kal-El. I'll get there.
It happens to all of us.
This is written by Tom Taylor. We have guest artist Danielle D. Nulaka, who is best known for their artwork in Tom Taylor's other independent comic, Seven Secrets, which I highly recommend that. Get the first 6 issues in trade now. Last time we lit it, they had that tectonic girl fall into the Kent house, and it explodes, so this is the fallout from that. John senses something going on, goes into super speed, tries to grab his friend, but apparently his friend is a post-human and has Kitty Pryde's phasing powers.
Interesting.
So he gets Ma and Pa Kent out of there. Since the Kent household is being monitored by the Justice League, Hippolyta gets there first and accidentally gets knocked back several states by this girl. Like, she even apologizes as she goes flying. She is not the aggressor in this. She has been used as a weapon. John actually does something even Superman can't. He actually beat Wally to somebody.
Interesting.
That is interesting. Pretty much, was like, she's a threat. It's like, she's not a threat. It's like Wonder Woman's still being knocked backwards, and we're staying in a crater that used to be your grandparents' house. And John's like, okay, well, she's not deliberately a threat. So he asked the girls, like, so what happened? I left you at Star Labs, and like, they took me. Who did? I don't know. The last thing I know is I got knocked out, and then I came to, and I was falling from a plane.
Well, dang.
And then she's like, I am so sorry all this happened. Did anybody get hurt? No. John's like, no, I got everyone out. It's fine. I'm sorry this happened to you. You were supposed to be looked after. And then Wonder Woman comes back and is like, she's going to be looked after. I'm going to watch her. John's like, see, Wonder Woman's taking care of you. For personal protection. It doesn't get any safer than that. And it's Queen Hippolyta. You know, Hippolyta's not Diana. She will hurt somebody.
That is true.
Hal goes and checks on Martha and Jonathan. Wally has a nice little talk with John, going, it's like, we haven't met. I'm Wally. Please come to me if you have any questions. I, more than anybody, understand what it's like to step into your hero's boots. It's like, and John appreciates it. It's like, and then Wally draws like, plus it's also just nice to talk to somebody that can speak at the same speed. Meanwhile, the Kents are talking to Jay, telling him he can come back anytime as soon as they have a house again.
Dang.
So meanwhile, John takes Jay back to Metropolis, and we meet 2 other characters that were introduced earlier in the series called Airy and Wink, which are another LGBTQ couple. They have like this like fun dynamic of they're both being carried by their prospective partners above the Daily Planet.
Nice.
It's just a fun little thing because we'll address this after the comic review because this is the thing that finally hits at that whole big Superman controversy that's been going on.
Oh, well, the one where people are losing their minds over the fact that he's trans.
No, that he's bi, but I'll explain that. So he meets them. They have a nice talk. Then John goes to see his mom because he wants to know who did this to the grandparents.
Mm-hmm.
And she pretty much tells him all signs point to President Bendix from Gomorrah, which is where those refugees came from. John's like, I'm going to go pay him a talk. And Lois like, yeah, this is the problem your father has with Luthor. You need to understand something now. He is not a costume villain. Much like Luthor, he is a president. Luthor was a president. This is not someone you can confront. And John's like, yeah. And much like Dad and Luthor, that's exactly what he believes, and I'm going to confront him anyways.
Dang.
And Lois like, all right, well, take a breath, go with a level head, try not to cause an international incident. John's like, you mean like you? It's like, yes, don't not be your mother when you go do this.
Dang. In other words,
at least Lois even admits to it.
when your own words come back to haunt you from your own children.
Mm-hmm.
Don't pull a you. Yes, don't pull a me.
So he goes to meet President Bendix, and President Bendix like, I have no idea what you're talking about. Gomorrah's a peaceful nation. You're still harboring all of those refugees that fled our justice system. Technically, they are criminals. John's like, they weren't criminals, and I can hear your heartbeat and your pulse, and I know you're lying.
Okay.
You can hide it well, but Superman.
Just, I mean, you're not wrong, but dang.
So he just gives him this is pretty much Superman meeting the Lex Luthor thing.
Yeah.
I know what you're up to. I know you're lying. I've got my eye on you.
Just go ahead.
So Bendix causes somebody to crown pain, which John's just not going to ignore. And it's that fire dude from the very first issue. And it's a giant trap because Bendix is bombarding John with UV lasers that overcharges John.
Nice.
So it has John freaking out at the end of the issue because his powers are like super amped and he is hearing everybody and everything. He also has powers I'm not entirely sure of. He's got heat vision and super hearing, but he also has like blue eye lasers and his hands are glowing blue, which is not a Superman power. So
right.
I don't know what that is.
You're exactly right. It's not a Superman power, so okay.
It must be a John exclusive power. So, I'm down with that. Again, Tom Taylor, love his writing, love this book. Guest artists, it's fantastic because they do such great artwork in Seven Secrets that it translates very well into this book. Hopefully we'll be seeing more art from them. Now, moving on to the big controversy involving this. Yeah, people are losing their minds, and honestly, I chalk half of it up to people being people, but some of it is also marketing, because if you are not a comic reader and you see Superman is by,
mm-hmm.
Do you think John or do you think Clark?
I'd probably think John.
No. If you have not read comics.
If I had not read comics, I'd think Clark, because that's what we usually that's the name it's usually associated with, right?
Yes. So that is what everybody's freaking out about. Even Dean Cain weighs in, and someone like, well, Dean Cain's Dean Cain, and I'm not touching that any further than I have to.
His Superman wasn't that good anyway, but keep going.
Yeah, but it had Terry Hatcher, so it was pretty to look at.
Still a chandelier in an old house, but keep going.
Working with it. So, like I said, the next issue we see John and Jay kiss. John is bisexual. That's fine. It's good to see representation in comics. It's
a sign of the times.
Because the thing is John is not an established character. Right. He is not. We don't have any rogue. We are just now getting his Rogues Gallery. He is just now getting Superboy. The biggest comics John have been in is either Superman and Lois during the Convergence era or Super Sons. At that point, his biggest villain was Kid Amazo.
Yeah.
and then at that point he was 8.
But
And then most of his villains were dealing when he was being hounded by his dad's villains at one point. But none of them were his villains. So they are not shaking up the status quo because John is not a long-time established character.
right.
That does the same thing is also can be said with Tim Drake, who's also now bisexual. Again, that thing is fine. That is one of those. The Tim Drake thing is he and Cassie had a fight, and he had a longtime friend who is also bisexual, and they kissed. Okay, you're bisexual. You had a fight with your girlfriend, and found solace in somebody you also care about in a different way. Okay, that's fine.
But it's a sign. But I always say it's a sign of the times, though. It's like so many people is like you want comics to read. You want comics to be an escape, yes, but you also want them to relate to the current times.
Yes.
And it's like you can't ask for that, and they provide it to you, and the first thing they say is Superman is bi. Not my Superman. Well, first and foremost, it's not yours. It's your idea of what you think it should be, but it's not yours. It's like when like Dean Cain came out and said, "Well, this isn't what Superman's supposed to be." Well, first off, it's not Clark Kent; it's his son. Had you read the article beyond the title, you would have gotten that.
See, but that is kind of the issue there too. Is that the marketing that they are employing is poor marketing because they are going for the biggest grab headline, not the truthful headline.
Right.
The truthful headline is New Superman or The Son of Superman.
That's what it should have been. But I think it was. But you're right though, because if they said Son of Superman was bi, it wouldn't have caused these waves.
No, we would not be in the situation we are now. But
right.
I mean, this is one of those. It's not fake because Superman is off planet. John is Superman, so it is not incorrect. But if it was more detailed, we wouldn't be where we are now.
I still love the fact I like a lot of people have said this argument. So where were y'all when Harley and Poison Ivy were a thing? Where was all this outrage? And I was
the internet wasn't invented then. Remember?
But I laughed about that because someone pointed that out because I was listening to this one podcast where they had this one guy calling angry talking about, well, that's not my DC, that's not what I grew up with, and the guy turns out and says, well, did you feel this way when Poison Ivy and then Harley Quinn were a thing? Well, that's different. And he goes, you know what, sir? I'm gonna have to go ahead and hang up on you right now because it feels like you're floundering right now. And I'm thinking I'm just gonna do you a solid and let you bow out gracefully. Cause
now, what's the other thing that got big about Superman? Oh, the Superman motto changing.
Yeah, and people got mad about that too. Truth, justice, and a better tomorrow.
Yeah, well, I mean, they've already changed that once during the New 52 era, I think.
Yep.
And people are so upset it's not truth, justice, in the American way. I can say it was probably said in the Fleischer cartoons, most definitely.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's been used as kind of a jabbing point because we've had titles like What's So Great About Truth, Justice, in the American Way?
Yeah.
Which I think is when the elites were introduced.
Yeah.
And then I believe Christopher Reeve said it once in the first movie.
But it never had anything. It's like I hate to make it sound like this, but it's like you hear Mike Keaton say I'm Batman. Okay, it's iconic. He made the line. So it's like when we hear him say it all the time, you saw those same chills when you saw Batman for the first movie. But, hearing Superman say true justice in the American way, it's like, okay. I mean, we hear you say justice more than anything else. You'll sit there and say, I mean, even Zack Snyder, he made a point for Superman's line. Well, I do have this thing. If I have this thing for justice. And it's like cheesy, corny, yes, but it's never had an impact. So
we're not even saying that the lack of the American way is a bad thing. It's just the character has grown beyond that because even in the comics, he even states like, I am not the defender of just the United States. I'm the defender of this world.
Right. So that's why a lot of people, it's like, I just don't get the whole bent out of shape thing where it's like, please spare me your nationalism dressed up as pride. That's what it sounds like to me.
If
It
anyone should have truth, justice, and the American way, it's John, because John is an American-born citizen.
yeah.
Clark is a Kryptonian immigrant who I guarantee you probably still doesn't have legal documentation entirely for
I'm
the
pretty
United
sure
States.
I've never read a comic where Superman became a legal citizen. That's all I'm saying. I don't see. I never saw Superman put in immigration papers. That's all I'm saying.
But it's neither here nor there. Truth, justice, and for a better tomorrow, he is billed as the man of tomorrow in multiple books,
Right. So it's
in
like if
multiple
he,
storylines. So it does fit better.
I dig it. I dig it for a better tomorrow. I just want to see Batman just come out. What's Batman's slogan? I'm Batman. No, what's your slogan?
Depending on some Batman slogans, it's either I am terror, I am the night, I am Batman,
Yeah.
or I'm the GD Batman, or I'm Batman.
Yeah, that's all. I
Or if
mean,
you're the Vulture on prom night, it's also I'm Batman.
that is also true. But
I love that. I love that outtake.
that's still funny as all get out. But with that being said, Joe, as we wrap this up, sir, where is? I know you already talked about your gaming channel, but just in case folks
So,
are clicking in and clicking out, where can they find your gaming channel during the week, sir?
so first and foremost, all these books can be gotten at your local comic book store, which is Rick's for me, which is Rick's Comic City, over in Donaldson. Which also, by the way, we do have to extend congratulations to them. They got Best Comic Store in Nashville for 2021 by the Nashville Scene, which
Nice.
is uh, publicly voted upon. So congrats to Rick. You can find his Prime store over in Donaldson and his two other stores in Clarksville and Fort Campbell. Or you can go to the library. You can pick up a comic there.
Yes, definitely libraries if you cannot reach comic books because libraries are woefully becoming underfunded, and the Department of Education is cutting budgets again. So the more attention they do pay to libraries, the more time you can save them. And like Joe said, you can find comic books and anime and videos there, all for the price of a library card. If you got $1, you can get a library card. So there really is no excuse. Everybody at this point should have $1 in their pocket. And also, yes, definitely shout out to Rick's Comic City. Try to beat Joe to the Donaldson location because Joe Joe will try to clean off collections if he can, because he definitely does have quite the collection. If you do follow Joe on Facebook, he usually does show his latest hauls. That last one you did, sir, was just wow.
A lot of those books are now coming out multiple times. Like that Spider-Man's coming out 3 times a month. So
I maybe buy 5 or 6 comics, but sir, you make me look you make me look small. I thought I was doing good with 6 comics, but damn.
no, I do. I go every 2 weeks, so I usually have a good pile depending on what comes out when.
Gotcha. But
And then
but
I just pick up trades because I'll pick up stuff. Like I want to finish that Cable because Phil Noto does the artwork and he's one of my favorite comic artists. So there's no way I was missing that.
I don't blame
But
you.
you can find me on Twitter, also Joe Italian last name. You can find me on Instagram, Nashville Scarlet Spider. You can also find me on an upcoming episode of Everyday Superhero Podcast. I was the guest this month. We talked for a good 3.5 hours. I want to see if we can see how much of that gets trimmed down.
I do not
We
envy
just talked a
that
little bit
edit
about
job.
everything.
I'm about to say Julian's gonna have a nice little time with that edit job. But I'm sorry, what were you saying, Joe?
We'll see. I mean, we actually pretty much stayed on top of it the whole time. We just talked about a little bit about everything.
All right, cool.
No, that's where you can find me. And then, of course, I am streaming Monday through Thursdays. I now have a schedule, 8:30 to 10:30, because I do work. I do have a normal job I go to at 7 in the morning.
Yeah,
So,
and also not to cut Joe off, and not to take it, not to tell all of Joe's business. He is a healthcare professional, so please, for the love of God, wear a mask, get vaccinated, do the world a favor.
you guys are doing us a favor. We don't have to wear N95s at work anymore. We can wear normal level 1 masks again.
Yay! So people are listening. Let's hope it
Yes.
keeps going.
I can go back to the gym again. I did. Now I'm walking around my house like a little old Japanese man, or that one old dude from Squid Games.
Not Squeak. Not that guy. Not the not the not the old
Which
guy.
means, which means, with my posture and the way I'm moving, I have a better chance at red light, green light than you guys do.
I just think they took. I think they couldn't hit him. It's like
Oh, I know
Halloween.
exactly who he is. I've only on episode 2, and I already can guess who that old man is.
It's like Halloween Kills. Like Michael just has bullet immunity because no matter where they shoot, it's no matter where they.
Isn't that the big thing? Is that he's technically immortal now?
Yeah. Long story short, he can't be killed. But I
Oh, and we finally get to see his face, right?
no.
I thought he pulled the mask up finally.
You see the back of the head, and that's it.
Oh, we see the Hulk Hogan ring.
Pretty much. You do not get to see the front of the face, sir. You literally get to see the back of the head when they rip when the mask comes off. And I was like, well, that sucks. but cool. Before we wrap this up, and thank you, Joe, for that. Shameless plugging before we get finished. I do want to talk about my buddy Big VZA Dot, which you can find him on Facebook at Avon Weatherspoon and at Big VZA Dot on socials, where he does have his smoking trailer Sundays. Every Sunday from 6:30 to 9 p.m. and the RAF, which is like America's Funniest Home Videos, every Tuesday from 6:30 to 9 p.m. He also has another gaming trailer called Making Plays, which is live on his Facebook as well. If you want to check out when that happens, definitely look him up, A. Levon Weatherspoon on Facebook or Big BZA on all socials. Also, shout out to Ari and Geek Salad, Ari and G present Geek Salad for letting us share our podcast on your channel. It's much appreciated. Definitely check them out on Facebook and on YouTube. That is, again, Ari and Gee, as in Gee, presents Geek Salad. So thank you guys for allowing us to share our podcast on your channels and on your Facebook groups. That's more than appreciated. As far as yours truly, the link at the bottom that you see in red is mine. If you copy and paste that into your browser, we'll take you to my link tree for all my YouTube and Facebook groups. How the Frack We Got Here, Git Bit, and Off Limits Podcast. My IG handle in the top left-hand corner, BlackBox447. Feel free to follow it, because sometimes I do post movie reviews and gaming reviews, and sometimes gym stuff, and sometimes inspirational stuff. I try to be funny. I'm funny 2 out of 7 times. That's still something. But definitely like and follow me there. And also, with that being said, like I said, yes, if you're wondering, Dune did come out. I haven't seen it yet. I'm pretty sure Joe hasn't seen it yet.
No,
So,
I saw it. I'm incredibly angry.
Oh, wow. So we're gonna have a wonderful Dune review next Friday. Because
I am so incredibly annoyed.
see, with that reaction right there for a person that's looking forward to watching it this weekend, I'm like,
Oh, no. Let me rephrase this. I like the movie, but they did something that I'm so incredibly annoyed with.
let me ask this question: is it gonna deviate from the book?
Uh, I can't really tell you because it would spoil stuff.
20 to 50%. It is a 0 to 50% chance it deviates.
Well, let me just put it this way. There's 50% of the book in there.
Cool. That's all I want to know. So we will basically be doing a review of Dune on. If you haven't seen it, it is available right now on HBO Max or in movie theaters if you want to go. Me and Joe will be covering that next Friday, and since it'll be a week since then, it will be full review, which means it will be spoilers. So we're just gonna go ahead and talk about it in its entirety. Since, like I said, the rule on Git Bit is it has to be a week before we talk about it. So next Friday will be a week. So we will definitely cover it there. And last but not least, guys, Music City Multicon, which again I'm looking forward to it because this is the first con I've been to in a very, very, very long time. I'm not cosplaying. I'm kind of playing mother hen to a bunch of kids, so they'll be cosplaying. My tail will be sitting there trying to corral children. So again, if you get a chance to go to a con, you really should. They're really fun. Of course, Joe and Shadow and my other friend Thomas and a whole bunch of people we all know are cosplayers, and they enjoy themselves thoroughly. For me, the last con I went to was Lexington Comic Con almost 4 years ago, so I'm really, really, really looking forward to this con near Halloween, and also the My Hero Academia movie, which comes out on Halloween weekend too. So that being said, Joe, any last words for your call tonight, sir?
I got these snazzy new cards from the My Hero Academia card game.
There's a card game for My Hero Academia? I did not know that.
I'm running Jiro.
Nice. I did not know there was a card game for it. I know there was video games for it, but I didn't know there was a card game. Nice.
Yeah, it's running off the card game called Universes,
Okay.
which is also the newest iteration of UFS, Universal Fighting System.
Gotcha. I was
So
go
it's got
look
like Cowboy Bebop, Mortal Kombat, Soul Calibur,
Oh yeah,
King of Fighters,
we also got
Yu Yu
covered Cowboy.
Hakusho.
Not to cut you off, we also got covered Cowboy Bebop because they gave a more extended view on Netflix as well. So we definitely got to cover that next Friday. But anyway,
Okay.
we'll definitely cover that, guys. So like I said, most importantly, be nice to each other. Be kind. If you can make somebody happy for a day, a minute, an hour, or a lifetime, please do so. The world can use more random acts of kindness. And just because you don't, and just because someone may not know something, please use it as as an educational moment to show them. You might turn some people on. Shoot, I turned my girlfriend on the anime, and there was anime out there she didn't know about. Now she's at home playing Crash Bandicoot as we speak because that's one of her favorite games. So you'll never be surprised as far as what you can introduce to people. So again, be kind, be nice, take care of yourselves and each other, and we'll get all through this. I've been Will, that's been Joe. It's been Git Bit for tonight, guys. Thank you all for watching. If you're watching on the playback, please comment if it's live. We still want to know your opinions on everything we talked about tonight. Aside from that, take care of yourselves and each other, and we'll all get through this. Peace.
待ってます。